You guys, I am doing something that we've all seen before, which is why I always thought, I don't want to do that because everybody's already seen it, but we're doing it. We are doing all my Natasha Denona palettes, and I got a lot of them. I don't have all of them, but I have a lot of them, and I have opinions on them, and I thought I'd share my opinions with you. Most people do ranking videos. I cannot make that kind of commitment, but I also cannot promise that I won't, within the body of this video, say something like, you know, I really like this the best, or this was the one I wore the most, or something like that. I will do another video on my teeny palettes, my small palettes. These are the full sizers. Well, there's two sizes in the full size, actually. I think one is called the midi, and I got a lot of the midis, and then there's the other ones that aren't midis. So let's do it by size, I guess. This is what we have. Hello. And I'm not doing any order at all, except for the big ones are at the bottom of my pile. So first off, this is the bronze palette. The year that this came out, and I don't remember what that year was, she was doing one after another that worked for me, and this was one of them. It's what I'm wearing now. I actually just did a video last hurrah for a summer look, and I love this palette. As I said in that video, I'm not a huge warm person. I do see a reason for it or a place for it, but I don't need 15 million of these. A couple will do for me. It's these two shades right here, though, that really make it special. Without these two shades, I might be bored. But they're so, so interesting and beautiful, and just take it up another notch. The swatch from my fingers, not doing it justice. I happen to love this. I don't wear it often because I'm not huge on warms, but it's beautiful on the eyes. You have to. Yeah, I mean, I have to look at it and say, well, it looks beautiful. Also, I find that warmer shades really can make green eyes, hazel eyes, and blue eyes pop. Now, one of the reasons I decided to do this video, it kind of made sense for me to do this video, is she is coming out with a new palette. Picture here, or maybe I'll just let it take over the whole screen. And it looks to me like Glam and Retro had a baby. I was kind of hoping for, you know, something else, but we'll see. We haven't seen swatches, we haven't seen anything, and we don't actually know when it's coming out. It seems to me that she has something early spring, like February, March, because this came out in February. This is the Love palette, and it came out right near Valentine's Day, and I flippin' love this, you guys. I do. Wasn't very popular, but I feel that there's a lot of ways to go with this, because you have some pinks and you have some purples. So there's basically two colorways. You can use them together, you can use them separately. I just think this has more variety than most people think. And I will tell you what, I wore this, I went to Nordstrom's to look for something, and I got like 3 comments on my eyeshadow. Love your eyeshadow. If you really kind of want to look with red eyeshadow without looking goth, or like you're going to a costume party, you can get that accomplished with this, and I really, really love this. And there's also a couple of cool tones in here, you know, so you could do the purple with silver. And I'm sure you know, and we can thank Alicia from Kinky Sweat for being so detailed on all of her, oh, she's not Kinky Sweat anymore, it's Alicia Archer. And she has explained that Natasha designs these so that you can just do one row. One row. Here's your look, here's your look, here's your look. You can also go this way, and this way. Diagonal. Words. Sometimes hard. So these two came out really close to each other. And I can't remember what came out right before that, but this is what is next in my pile, and that is the Pastel palette. And this is fairly recent. And I have to say, I adore this palette so, so much. However, as I started to use it, I had problems with this color really bad, and it made me just stop using it, because this is a color I like so much and I want to use a lot. I don't understand what it is, and I had a little problem with this too. It's like it got hard pan and then crumbly, and I had the same observation when I went into Sephora. This shade in particular, this blue shade, messed up. So that needs some help, and it stopped me from using it, but it is so, so pretty. And come next spring, I will do another look with this, and you know, I like it. I'm just like, I don't know what my hair is doing. I have a bunch of clips just holding my hair up. There. The Retro palette. This is one of the newer palettes. I think it was from last year. And this is a color story that I really enjoy. I will say I don't like too cool. I really prefer something neutral, not too warm, not too cool. And this isn't it. This is cool. But it does have some taupies in it that can help when you're going for these more berry colors. Is that a fall dream or not? In fact, I just got these lipsticks from Chanel. Let me see if I can find one. Hello. Yes, I will be doing this in the fall, 100%. And you could do something kind of light too. So here's the dark story, but you could do, I'm going to do this on another finger. This, oh, these fingers aren't clean either. This, something like that, and do a light story too. It's there for you, and you don't have to look too hard for it. The Glam palette. The Glam palette, probably the most functional for me in particular, because this is a neutral, little bit of cool. And, you know, if you look at movies and TV shows, you will see that they don't put a lot of makeup on, well, eye makeup on the actresses, but they definitely take a grayish shade to kind of shape the lid, to give a shape to the eye so the camera reads the eye as being large. And these are the kinds of shades that they use for that. So this is something that you can use for a dramatic eye, 100%, and for daily eye. And these two shades are a little bit on the, actually this corner right here, a little bit warm. So it's not as chilly as you think it might be. And I remember when she came out with this, I was just thinking, she is just singing my tune. If for some horrible reason I was only able to keep 3 Denona palettes, this would probably be one of them. Gorgeous. Now this I'm including even though it's a face, what are they calling it? Glam Face, because there's eyeshadow in here. It's a teeny bit too warm for me. For me, I like the idea that I have this kind of blush because I usually don't. These are trying to be neutral, but a teeny bit too warm. But I use these, and I actually pulled this out a couple of weeks ago, and I've done a couple of videos wearing this palette. I think this was the first one that I bought, and that is the Layla palette, or Layla. And she looks like this. Remember when they had these? Whoops. Now I love purples, you guys, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I love a purple eyeshadow, because I find they're hard to be subtle with, and I don't know what it is, but the thing about this palette that made me pull the trigger is this, 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 and this. These are those kind of shades I was telling you about, where you just kind of use this, and maybe if this is too dark for you, you mix it with this, to just go right through here to kind of give a little shape to your eyes, help bring out your color. Run this by the lash line to make your lashes look a little thicker. And if you want one a little bit warmer but not too warm, here. There is something very, very special about 1, this formula, and 2, these colors. I don't know what it is, but I had always thought that if you're doing a color, you can take black and white, right? And, oh, we got gray, call it a day. But I feel that with these colors, there's a lot of depth and richness to them. And my guess is, instead of going for the fewest colors to blend together to make your designated color, she used more. You know, she wanted an undertone or this or that or the other thing, and got very complex, beautiful colors, beautiful formulation with those mattes. I love them. These are all beautiful. You have a cool story. I don't think this is available anymore, so we won't talk too much about it. But those 4 mattes, there's actually 5 mattes in here. This one, which is quite warm. insanely gorgeous. I don't think this is available anymore either. It is the Safari palette. Doo-doo! And the Safari palette is great fun. It's all matte, and I put together some great looks. I will say that these up here, not so great. These two rows and this, great. There was something that just was difficult to work with, and also tonally, I didn't like this gray. It's very icy. I mean, you may as well wear pale blue instead of a gray. Some of these shades up here, and I don't remember if it was all four or just two of them, not a huge fan. But what I like about this palette was I can do summer right here and maybe here. You can do a neutral, you can do a warm neutral, you can do something kind of fun and exciting, and I've done videos with this palette, ouch, and it's a great, great palette. The Metropolis came out maybe 3 years ago. Back in the day, it's the foam, but this is not the same. This was a limited edition, beautiful colors, a lot of things to do here, but what I loved for these, flipping blues and greens, insane, insane. But I found them so hard to work with. Look at that they made me cry. I bought this and returned it and bought it again. When I finally started buying some nice brushes, I thought, well, maybe I'll have better luck now. And it is fall, so I am going to do a video with this because I know a lot of people have this. I'm not sure if it's available anymore. So many colorways. You can do golds, you can do greens, you can do blues, you can do this. This row right here is really fiery, and look at that, and fun. But I just had a problem with some of the formulas for me. Being crepey, being hooded, I had a hard time. It made me cry. The Triochrome, this came out right before the Love palette. Oh, this was the end of that year. So there was the Love, there was the Glam, there was the Triochrome, and I don't remember what came out right before the Love, but I thought, pretty good. The idea is these are supposed to be triochromes. I don't think they are. I think they're duochromes. But what I like is it's not a whole palette full of metallics like the Metropolitan or Metropolis. And these are all mattes, which I really, really appreciate. I always love these kinds of greens. They are hard to work with. She has something similar in the Pastel palette. But the truth is, when I look at, for instance, this and this and this and this, I think I probably have these somewhere else. Purples, I'm not huge on purples, as I've already said. Should I have probably returned this? Probably. These two shades, though, are those kind of shades that will work for a daily look. This, it has a grayishness to it, and this, the mauvey-ish to it, mauvey rose maybe. Yeah. It was probably not worth keeping, and if I had it to do over again, probably would return. Sometimes I do keep things because I think I'll need to reference them, but I need to stop kidding myself about that. The Biba palette. This I did not get when it first came out. I got it at, I think, the last sale last November because I thought I needed to dive in. It reminds me a little bit of the Safari palette in that it's quite neutral. I think this is still available. I'm just going to pull out the Safari. And these gray shades are not as cool as the Safari. But you can see now, there's a lot more vibrancy to Safari, you know? I do love that Safari palette. And these two together, fantastic. It is a teeny bit warm for my taste. I think the truth is, the reason I bought it was because there wasn't anything new coming out, and because I buy things for this channel, by the time the sale happens, there are things that I already purchased, and a lot of companies don't release something right before the sale because, you know, they don't want that discount coming to you. And that's, well, my observation, which I happen to think is correct. And then finally, this one is probably my favorite. It was a limited edition that was available for probably 5 years. It is the Tropic palette. And it looks like this. Now, there's a mini Tropic. I will say right off the bat, if you've been here for any period of time or you've seen me do eyeshadow looks, you know that I'm not really into this stuff at all. It's very hard when you're as hooded as I am to make use of these while I think they're beautiful colors. When this came out, a lot of people said, this is awful. These shades are just not working. But I didn't care about these shades. I cared about these shades. They're neutral, but they're not too warm. In fact, they're pinkish and maybe warm pinkish. Now, hard to tell because the framing always makes your eye kind of pull. So whatever warmth there is in any of these shades you're seeing because of this warm beige color that is framing it. But I use this all the time. This was the palette, and you can hardly see. I'm telling you, almost every day I was going to this palette for my summer looks. It wasn't a summer look like this, it was just a summer easy look. I'd do these peachy pinks, I would do this color is in something else, antique taupe, I think it's called, vintage taupe. I think it's in the retro or in the Glam palette. You could do the peaches instead and get something kind of warm. This color, limoncello, is so pretty. The lavender, also very nice and workable. I mean, this is a matte too. I probably could have had more fun with this. Maybe I'll bring it out again, but I don't really know that there's use for it because I don't remember this being popular and it's not available anymore. So I don't know, if I were to rank them, this is my number one. Making some decisions. I feel like I'm playing with huge mahjong tiles. I've never played mahjong in real life, but I love playing it online. Okay, my favorite is the Tropic, and then the Bronze, the Love, the Safari, the Glam, and the Retro. Now, if I could narrow this down, how would I do so? The Bronze, probably more wearable than the Love, but we're not playing that game. Safari, definitely. So Safari and Tropic, both not available, I don't think, anymore. The Retro, the Glam, the Love. I mean, how can I make any choices? It would be cruel to make me make choices. Yes, red is not something I'm going to wear very often, but I have the option to do that. Purple, not my favorite. I love the color, but on me, not so much. So I could say maybe this isn't in the top. I mean, it is. The Glam we have to put in the yes pile. If I'm taking a look at both of these, I mean, it's just totally unfair to do a competition like that. I'm not going to. But these are my favorite. And, you know, I don't really keep up. Again, if you're into the formulas and all that kind of stuff, Alicia Archer, I always say at Kinky Sweat, not at Kinky Sweat, knows, you know, this is a new formula, this is new that. I think you can read it on her website. It's just I don't have the brain width to remember that kind of stuff because I'm busy remembering other kind of stuff. And I'm old. The ones that I had the most difficult time, this one. Oi, OMG, stop. And yeah, that's going to wrap up my Natasha Denona, all my large palette videos, and that's it. I hope it was fun, maybe even helpful. I will link everything below that is still available, and I'll link everything on my face below, and that is going to wrap up today's video. I want to thank you for spending some time with me. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was fun. I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe and smart. And now, my outro is Lucy and I in the rain.
Lucy! Let's go! Let's go! What? Let's go! Let's go! Ow.